Hello, welcome to Business Africa, the reference point for economic news on the African continent. I am Amel Inga. Coming up in this edition, an international trade fair of artisans from all over Africa has been held in the Senegalese capital, Dakar. In the DRC, revival of coffee production in the province of South Kivu is on the cards. Finally, we will get to know how the recession in Zimbabwe is hitting the horse racing sector in the country. Let's head to Senegal, where the very first Dakar International Crafts Fair has welcomed hundreds of artisans from the continent. One of the largest artisanal markets in Africa, it contributes to 12% of Senegal's GDP. Hanan Fejani and Victor Moiso with the details.
Senegal held the first edition of the Dakar International Trade Fair between May 15th and 20th. Organized by the country's Ministry of Crafts and Vocational Training, the 5-day fair showcased various African works of art, bringing together craftsmen, buyers, and art professionals. In addition to promoting art products and popularizing products made in Senegal, the event also sought to attract key players in the sector, which represents an important part in the country's economy. There are over 2 million in Senegal that live off this trade. All the emerging countries have relied on their crafts to develop, simply because of the large numbers of the players who revolve around this sector. Habibou Mare from Burkina Faso was one of the exhibitors, and she has a burst of pride on the part Africa plays in the future of art and craft.
This fair exposes us to the world, and we're happy. We're in contact with so many people. We ask all Africans to heart everything we do because it's handmade, value-added and quality. We urge African people to come and buy African products, to consume African products, especially handmade products. We need to encourage that.
Senegal's craft industry is made up of some 120 sub-groups. Latest numbers show that production craftsmen like tailors and carpenters accounted for 68% of all artisans.
And now to the DRC, more specifically South Kivu, one of the regions with high potential for coffee production, where production has collapsed in recent years due to diseases, mining, and armed conflicts. But now, thanks to the Saveur du Kivu trade fair, the DRC is looking for the lost glory of coffee in the Kivu. Jean-David Mahamle and Michael Debi have more.
The south of Kivu in the DR Congo main business is coffee production. In 25 years, the production has been divided by 8 from 120,000 tons in 1993 to about 8,000 tons in 2016. Flavor of the Kivu is intended for the promotion of local coffee in the region.
The coffee from this region is some of the best coffee in the world that can compete with any coffee around the world. It attracts me because this is the last place on earth with a real large potential for specialty coffee and conventional coffee. And as such, we as an industry here locally, from the growers to the government and from the buyer to the aid or funder, need to work together in order to help bring good investment.
Better than mining, the main activity in the region, coffee could promise a better future. The sector most viable in Kivu is coffee. Therefore, the best way to help the people currently and to have revived the economy of the province is coffee. One must not rely only on the craft of mining gold. The authorities on their side have decided to assist the growth of coffee in the Kivu. As much as we could like to see each Congolese living in the South Kivu, it is beneficiary of the exploitation of the plantation that each has its level. The people already appear to feel the positive impact of coffee culture in the region. We invite others who are dragging on us to grow coffee. Us can finish, but coffee fields are sustainable. The fields that we have today have inherited from our grandparents. Visibly, coffee in the Kivu promises a joyful aftermath in days to come.
Comment retrouver la gloire perdue du café congolais?
To speak more about it, we have François Kambale, the director of the National Coffee Office for the region of South Kivu in the DRC.
En RDC. Bonjour.
Hello, François Kambale. How do you think the DRC can boost its national production?
We believe that a system of pre-funding, as was done in the years of 1989 and the years of 1955. The producers had the means, and then it was not everyone that has a coffee. To make a coffee farm, you must have at least 5 hectares of coffee. And we believe that we can have access to agricultural credit. When the grower has easy access to a credit, then we can return to the time the Congo exported more than 120,000 tons a year. We had really all the means, and all growers were mentored correctly. Each grower had a sheet. I therefore put the emphasis on the pre-financing of producers. With that, we were able to absorb the entire production of the DR Congo, and that everything coffee could be officially exported from the DRC.
Monsieur Kambale,
what are the production figures for the last season, and can you also give us the figures in terms of tonnage and quality?
The statistics are a little alarming. Years ago here, we had 1,100 tons. You see, it is really insignificant. A province which has a dimension of more than 69,000 kilometers and does not officially produce 1,100 tons. It is really insufficient. But when you visit the fields of the producers, you realize that actually there is coffee in the fields, and you ask what is really going into this production, and one realizes that the coffee passes through the lake, because here at last there are factories. There are abundant exporters here who deal with this coffee for their benefit, but to the detriment of the province of their origin or the producing province. We are talking about the coffee campaign, which begins on October 1st of each year and ends at the end of the month of September of the following year. During this campaign in DRC, which has 9,000 tons of coffee, it is very inadequate. A country with a continental dimension and which has been cultivating coffee since the time of the Belgians and who still today continues to grow coffee. But have figures such as this, it is really unfortunate why neighboring countries such as Uganda makes 39,000 tons. The other neighboring country, Rwanda, makes 29,000 tons. But we have a problem with the figures. Where does our coffee go? Why do we want to invest in this coffee? I told you, for example, for me, if treatment plants finishes, the South Kivu is going to be a boom of the coffee, especially based on the fact that we do a special coffee down here.
Thank you, François Kambale. That was the director of the National Coffee Office for South Kivu in the DRC. We just talked about the latest advances in coffee production in the DRC. A pillar of the economy in Zimbabwe during the colonial era, the horse racing sector is today in free fall and faces a collapse due to the economic crisis that has hit the country. More on this after the break.